Welcome to Life Stories, where we share real, raw experiences that teach us valuable life lessons. Today, I want to take you on a journey of self-discovery, family dynamics, and the courage it takes to stand up for yourself. It's a story about realizing your worth, setting boundaries, and the emotional cost of living up to others' expectations. I hope this story resonates with anyone who's ever felt like they were being taken advantage of. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into today's story. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more powerful life stories. I sit in the dim light of Marino's, a downtown restaurant that costs more than my weekly grocery budget. Crystal glasses catch the light from chandeliers above, scattering tiny prisms across the white tablecloth. The wine menu stands propped between the salt and pepper shakers. $28 for the cheapest glass. My father's 60th birthday celebration swirls around me, while I maintain a smile that doesn't quite reach my eyes. Another round. The server hovers at my brother's right shoulder. Pen poised. My father claps his hands together, his cheeks already flushed from the first two glasses. I grip my water glass tighter, the weight of the evening settling in. I ordered wine 30 minutes ago, but I haven't touched it. Each sip, each glance at the bill, feels like a decision, a careful calculation. Jade, my younger sister, tosses her hair over her shoulder and scans the menu with practiced nonchalance. I'm thinking the black lobster. They fly it in fresh this time of year. I glance at the price. $65. My stomach clenches. Jade's choice seems so effortless. So casual. Excellent choice. The server nods, then turns to me, his pen poised to take my order. And for you, ma'am? I hesitate. Just the cedar plank salmon. Please, I say, keeping my voice even. It's the least expensive entree at $32. I can feel Jade's eyes on me. A flicker of surprise. She's not one for subtlety. And when the server moves to Logan, my older brother, Jade's eyes narrow as she points to the reserve wine list. I'll have the Chateau Margaux. The 2015, she says, as if it's nothing. $45 a glass. Logan leans forward. 2. I'll have the deluxe sushi platter, he says, his voice low and deliberate. It's a dish meant for two. Priced at $78. My chest tightens. I don't speak at first. Then, before I can stop myself, the words slip out. Maybe we should go easy on the menu tonight. They're soft enough that only our table can hear. But it's enough. The table falls silent for a moment. Mom and Dad exchange glances. Logan studies his napkin. Jade's lips curl into a smile. And she looks at me like I've said something ridiculous. Relax, Megan, she says, her voice casual, like she's reassuring a child. Voice caring, she adds, her words deliberate enough that the tables nearby turn slightly. You've got it. You're basically our corporate sponsor. Everyone laughs. Everyone except me. The laughter doesn't reach me. Instead, I feel something harden inside my chest. Like concrete setting. 3 years. 3 years of birthdays, holidays, and just because celebrations where somehow my card always ended up with the bill. It started innocently enough. When I was promoted to financial manager, suddenly, my family wanted to celebrate everything. I was happy to treat occasionally. But, occasionally, soon became expected. And, expected became demanded. I look around the table. At the smiling faces of my family. Dad's gold watch glints in the dim light. A gift to himself last Christmas. Mom's designer purse hangs off her chair. The one she had to have from the Nordstrom anniversary sale. Jade's third new phone this year sits beside her plate. Meanwhile, my apartment still has the second-hand furniture I bought 5 years ago. My car is paid off. But it shows its age. I'm saving for retirement while they're spending like there's no tomorrow. Under the table, I pull out my phone and text Evan. They're doing it again. His response comes quickly. Walk away. Jim's the manager tonight. I already talked to him. Evan, the one person who sees me clearly. I do the math in my head as I watch Mom order another bottle for the table. $89 and climbing. The weight of it settles on my shoulders. Not just the money, but the responsibility they've placed there without asking. Without thanks. Mom lifts her glass to family. Her eyes scanning the table. But not mine. To family, she says. The toast hangs in the air. Empty. That's when I know. 3 years of this is enough. I stand up, holding my phone as if it's just vibrated. I'm going to step outside and take this call real quick. I say, my voice steady. No one looks at me. Dad nods absently, already launching into a story about his golf game. Mom adjusts her necklace. Logan and Jade are arguing about some reality TV show. I walk toward the door, each step feeling strangely momentous. At the threshold, I pause and look back. My family continues eating, drinking, laughing, a tableau of pleasure at someone else's expense. For one heartbeat, doubt flutters in my chest. But then I remember Jade's smirk. I remember the casual way they order whatever they want, without a single thank you. I push through the door and step into the cool night air. I don't look back. The hostess smiles as I pass. Leaving already? She asks. Yes, I reply, surprised by the steadiness in my voice. I'm finished. And for the first time in years, I feel like I'm telling the truth. I sit in my car. The engine turned off, listening to the rain patter against the windshield. The parking lot of Marino's glows orange under sodium lights, each raindrop catching light like tiny falling stars. My phone lights up again. The 7th time in 12 minutes. The screen displays our family group chat. 3 dots appearing, disappearing, then reappearing as someone types. Deletes. Reconsiders. I don't need to read the messages to know what's happening. I can feel it, like a chill creeping down my spine. Jim must be walking toward their table. His practiced professionalism always so efficient. So calm. I imagine his tall, thin frame approaching their table. His voice smooth and polite. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it seems Megan's card has been removed from our payment system. I picture Jade's face first. She would stare at him, disbelief flashing across her face. Her carefully shaped eyebrows shooting upward as her champagne glass hovers halfway to her lips. Mom would fumble in her designer purse, fingers trembling slightly as she searches for a rarely used credit card. Dad's face would flush beneath his tan, that familiar shade of crimson appearing whenever his dominance is challenged. It's the same color he turned when he was outbid at the charity auction last summer. My phone buzzes again. Tyler's message. They figure it out yet? I type back. In process. Not going back. Another memory surfaces. Christmas dinner at the Capitol Grill. The bill $650. I remember the weight of the leather folder in my hand. The quick mental calculation as I slid my card inside. The conversation never paused as plates were cleared. Not a single thank you. Not even a glance. Then, Logan's graduation celebration at Coastline. $1,200 for 8 people. I remember how my brother had bragged. This is my sister, Logan. She works in finance. Not Ellis, the one who helped me study for exams. But Ellis, the walking wallet. My chest tightens as I think about Thanksgiving last year, when Jade laughed and said, "Why save when Ellis has it covered?" I had stood just around the corner with a pumpkin pie in hand. Humiliation rising in my cheeks. But no one noticed. No one ever noticed. Somewhere along the way, my financial success had become my family identity. It wasn't just the money they relied on, it was the role they had assigned me. I had become nothing more than their bank. A convenient source to cover their whims. And I had allowed it. I had let it happen. Year after year, birthday after birthday. But now, as the rain falls outside my car and the weight of the decision settles on my shoulders, I know this is the end. My phone buzzes again. More messages. More calls. I don't respond. I can't. I've spent years calculating every purchase. Every bill. Every celebration. But tonight, it's different. Tonight, I'm not going to do it anymore. For the first time in years, I don't feel the weight of obligation pressing down on me. I imagine them inside Marino's now, scrambling to figure out how to cover the bill approaching $1. Mom's credit card might be declined. She rarely uses it. Dad might have to pull out his emergency card. The one he keeps for real situations. Logan might need to call his girlfriend to help. Or Jade might throw a fit. But none of that matters to me anymore. I've made my choice. I drive away from Marino's. The streetlights blurring slightly as I blink rapidly. The rain has stopped, but I can still feel the coolness of the night air in my lungs. It feels like freedom. The first step toward a future where I'm no longer defined by my family's expectations. Tyler's message pops up on my phone again. Proud of you. It's short, simple, but somehow, it means everything. He's the one person who truly gets it. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like I've made the right decision. The next few days unfold in a blur of missed calls and unread messages. My phone buzzes constantly, but I refuse to answer. I know what they're saying. What they're thinking. It's the same cycle. Always. Anger. Confusion. A desperate plea for me to return to my old role. But I won't. I won't go back to being their walking wallet. I sit at my desk in my apartment. The silence of the space surrounding me like a warm blanket. The only sounds are the quiet hum of the refrigerator and the occasional click of keys as I continue to work. My apartment, modest but carefully curated, is my sanctuary, a place of peace, of autonomy. No one tells me what to do here. No one expects anything from me except to live my life on my terms. But then, there's the doorbell. It's early in the morning when it rings. Loud and insistent. I know who it is before I even look through the peephole. Mom, Dad, Logan, Jade, the whole gang. My heart sinks as I open the door. And there they are, standing in the hallway like a well-rehearsed performance. Looking like they've just walked out of a bad soap opera. Dad's jaw clenches, grinding his teeth in that familiar way. Mom dabs at her eyes with a handkerchief, one of her expensive embroidered ones that she uses for special occasions. Logan shifts uneasily from foot to foot. And Jade, front and center, jabs her manicured finger at the doorbell. As if that will somehow convince me to let them in. Ellis, Dad says, his voice stern. We need to talk. I take a deep breath and step back, allowing them in. The tension in the air is palpable. They file into my living room like a jury, waiting for me to explain myself. They all sit, each of them occupying a position like chess pieces. But the air is thick with something I haven't felt in years: expectation. We've been here before, of course. These confrontations are nothing new. I've seen them coming, even prepared for them, but nothing about this feels like it did in the past. There's no guilt, no shame, just a sense of clarity, of knowing that I've finally drawn the line. Why did you leave? Mom's voice trembles, but her eyes remain dry. She's trying to pull me back in, as if nothing has changed. We've always been there for you, Ellis. Always. I nod slowly. I know, Mom, but that's the problem. I've always been there for you. I've paid for everything, every celebration, every dinner, and no one ever asked if it was okay. It just became expected. Jade rolls her eyes, her usual smirk replaced by something more like defensiveness. This is ridiculous. It's just one dinner. Ellis, are you really going to throw away years of family connection over one meal? I feel my stomach tighten. But I remain calm. It's not just one dinner, Jade. It's every dinner, every holiday, every birthday. I've been your financial safety net for 3 years. And I've had enough. I look around the room at their stunned faces. Dad's pacing has slowed, his eyes flicking to the ground. Mom's handkerchief is now pressed firmly to her face. Logan is awkwardly studying the carpet. And Jade is glaring at me, her arms crossed. I walk over to my desk, pull out a folder, and set it down on the coffee table. The room falls silent as I open it. The folder is filled with spreadsheets, meticulously organized, showing every bill, every dinner, every expense. I've tracked it all. Mother's Day brunch, Logan's graduation dinner, Dad's retirement party, all the just because meals in between. The total, in bold at the bottom of the last page, $117.280. This isn't about generosity. I say, my voice steady. This is about respect. I would have been happy to treat occasionally. But it became an expectation. Not a gift. An obligation. The silence in the room is thick. Suffocating. For the first time in years. They have no words. Jade's face turns crimson as she opens her mouth. But no words come out. Dad's face is a mix of disbelief and anger. Mom's tears have started again. But this time, I don't reach for her. I can't. You embarrassed us, Jade says finally, her voice sharp. Over one dinner. You're making us look bad. I stand, looking down at the folder. I'm not making you look bad, Jade. I'm finally standing up for myself. They all stare at me in silence. Their expressions a mix of confusion, anger, and guilt. This is the moment I've been waiting for. The moment I finally take control of my life. I gather my things, my mind clearer than it's ever been. I'm done, I say. You all need to start handling your own part. I can't do this anymore. I watch as they leave. One by one. Logan with a last, lingering glance. Mom with a fresh wave of tears. And Jade, slamming the door behind her as she exits. Dad is last, his hand resting on the doorknob. You're making a mistake, he says, his voice low. I don't respond. I don't need to. This is my decision. I've stood my ground. And for the first time, I feel free. In the days that followed, the silence in my apartment felt different. Not heavy with guilt or regret, but light, as though a weight had been lifted. My phone remained largely silent, aside from the occasional message from Tyler, whose support meant more than words could express. My family's messages had stopped. Their calls unanswered. They were still processing, still trapped in their old expectations of me. Then, one morning, the doorbell rang. I opened it to find Mom standing in the hallway, holding a dish in her hands. Homemade apple crisp. Her face was carefully made up, but her eyes were rimmed red. The familiar signs of someone who had cried. Behind her was Logan, holding a bottle of wine, awkwardly shuffling his feet. The absence of Dad and Jade was unmistakable, but their presence was still felt in the space between us. Mom, I said softly, stepping aside to let them in. The tension was palpable, but so was the unspoken hope that this could be a new beginning. Even if it was imperfect. We sat at the table, eating together in a way that felt real. For the first time in years. There was no talk of money. No expectation of who would pay. Just a meal shared between family members. A simple moment of connection. Later, as they left, Mom's final words stayed with me. Your father isn't ready. Not yet, but maybe one day. I nodded, understanding. Family healing takes time, and not everyone is ready for change. But I had learned something invaluable. True freedom isn't about financial independence. It's about reclaiming my own voice and my own boundaries. If you've ever felt trapped by family expectations, know this. Setting boundaries is hard, but it's worth every step. Don't let anyone define your worth by what you can give. It's about respect, love, and learning to honor yourself. Thanks for joining me on this journey. Be sure to subscribe for more life stories.